Yeah, let's go for the first 3v3 League Season 6 playoff semifinal. They're playing a best of 3. And this is how the map picking works. It's a best of 3 map draft. They get to pick home maps first. So Hopsy has gone for Migration for Toxic Sim Pickers team here. And Max Power for GDR has gone for Runestones as their home map. And then they just ban all the way to decide a starting map as the designated neutral map. Here we go. And that's going to be Team Acropolis for the first game. So, given the distance and the fact that we start so closely together, unique units are seen sometimes on this map. For example, Conquistadors for the Spanish or the Mainz Plumed Archers. But you really need to have a good cavalry civilization and arguably a good arbalest civilization to back that up. Or cavalry archers, perhaps. So if you have a look at the civilizations here, Vietnamese comes to mind. Although that could be a flank civilization for Runestones as well. I think Berbers could make sense for Team Acropolis. Mayans, almost a given, unless they want a really good archer's flank for Runestones, in which case it could be Ethiopians Mayans. Magyars probably banned because of Team Islands here. No, Team Islands, Team Acropolis. So, Hindustan is Mayans Spanish, could be something. No Incas in the draft. That is correct. Incas are a good team civilization these days. You get one free llama for the benefit of your team. Llama is now a team bonus rather than a sim bonus for Incas. So what's Hopsy's team going to go for here? Where's the Dravidians going into play? That has to be Migration. So Berbers to counter Cavalry Archer play on Team Acropolis here. They stack Mongols as well, so they don't specifically need Berbers to counter Mongols. And yeah, Incas Chinese commonly seen pairing, yeah. So how about Berbers? Maybe Koreans for the Arbalests, and then maybe it's the Gujars. We'll see. Just dive into the first one here. Let's have a look. Berbers, Gujars, Mongols, yeah, for Sapient Fez. I see. Mongols makes sense, could go up super fast and make scouts. And some of the strongest Imperial Age game in the Age of Empires scene as well. They have very strong late game siege and elite Mangudai are a nightmare to deal with. And since Toxic Sim Pickers picked both Mongols and Berbers, you don't have the Camel Archers to counter the Mangudai play either. So this looks like a strong combination for Toxic Sim Pickers, to be honest. Berbers in the pocket, cheaper cavalry 15 and 20% cheaper knights and camels in the Castle Age and the Imperial Ages respectively. Villagers moving faster, making it a little bit easier to move around. Could do some shenanigans with that on maps where you spawn more closely. But I think it's going to be the scout into knights here. Possibly a switch into cavalry archers if the game goes longer and the opposing team goes for a cavalry archer approach. And finally Astro with the Guriaras here. So that's not as obvious for me, but Shirya Raiders for countering archers play and very quick raiding unit perhaps. Good camels as well. Yeah, consistent early food bonus with the Birdables, generating a trickle of food when garrisoned inside of your middle. Now let's have a look at GDR boys' side. Mark Landers in the purple here as the Franks in the flank position. Not that it matters when they spawn this close. That Frank's usually pretty obvious. Going to be scouts into knights, maybe some cheap castles to manifest some middle positioning here. In the pocket, we have Hindustanis. So both Franks and Hindustanis are spending 2 great pocket civilizations. But they might need them as well, since Berbers have cheaper cavalry than the Franks, and the Gudjars have great camels as well. However, I think the Hindustanis Imperial Camel still trades better against the heavy camel of the Gudjars, even with the bonuses that apply to that unit. Gudjars probably go for camels since Shirwan just died so hard to melee units. Yeah, that's a good shout. Could mix in the odd one off to get some raids in though, instead of light caps, since they move so stupidly quickly. Finally, Tatars for Podemos. Good pick for Ion Team Acropolis as well, as Tatars have instant thumbing for their ranged units. The cavalry archers will then also benefit from, or any unit will benefit from an extra 25% elevation bonus damage. So you could always, especially if you go for the cavalry archers with Tatars here, you can just pull back to the hills and dictate when and where to fight with that mobility. I feel like toxic sim pickers have vastly better civilizations, but I can't describe why. Late game, absolutely. Because of the Mongols' Death Ball and the Berbers' spam, and the fact that they could spam Hussars endlessly here. I guess you could say the same about Tatars and Hindustanis. But if Sapien Fest gets to fully upgraded Mangudai here, what is the other team going to use to stop that? That would be my question, because they don't have camel archers. They don't have... I mean, you need Tatars to go for the skirmishers then, or Hindustanis. Imperial Cavalry, yes, but the cavalry archers will still, for the most of the time, be running away. Staying comfortably at home here, not really scouting the other side. GDR moving out now. What you could do when you start as close as this, you scout the starting area more efficiently, right? So you could commit all your 3 starting scouts over to the other side. Because of the difficulty of walling you can't build on this terrain, you should be able to find some damage if you coordinate your 3 starting scouts together.
Yes.
Mages kicking in here. Got some Italian language in this submission. Let's see who is going for what here. There's the stable for the Mongols. Still Dark Age for the Gudjars for the time being, but that's a 20 pop-up. Could be double scouts here. And what's our purpose play gonna go for? Already in stone. Caval Scout now should have bonus damage against cavalry, so it's a tough fight to win for the non-Gudjars team, at least if they coordinated their efforts. It is actually triple scouts for GDR boys. Triple scouts. I mean, if they get in, sure. But so Toxic Civ Pickers already in the process of walling. They seem to have almost the full front side covered. And if the scouts don't get in, how are you supposed to get damage in with triple scouts here? 2 of the players of TCP going for scouts as well, while the Berbers player is going to try to go for a fast castle here, get a castle up, and start pumping out the camel archers immediately. It's lots of military out, but the other team matching it as well. It's two players making scouts for Toxic Sim Pickers is all of GDR boys, which means that that Fastel could kick in hard for Mertarsuslu in the teal. And the Berbers cavalry being cheaper as well, it's easier to pump out those knights or even camels if you feel like you need them. Focusing the camel scout there, almost going down, only 1 HP left for that one. Good engagement for GDR boys, no upgrades whatsoever on the scouts for either team, not just yet. However, Castle H halfway there for the Berbers player. And yeah, that's going to be a castle defensively somewhere to keep the raids out. Yeah, but the Berbers player isn't going for the knights, right? It's heavy on the stone. It's going to be straight camel archers here. And it's not the worst call if you get the camel archers out. You can still hit and run, and they produce relatively quickly, and you only need golden wood for them, so you could still seed farms behind it and switch to knights at a later point if you need to. Could even make an argument for sending builders over and place that castle in the face of your opponents, but that's going to be at home and defensive for sure. A little bit short on stone, 30 stone to go, and we'll see the castle drop. 2 builders lost for green. I guess that's negligible damage. They are behind in builder numbers. I guess because of the Castle Age transition, that you could say 87 plus 7 is 94. So without clicking Castle Age, it would still be pretty even here. Castle going up in the back. I don't know if they're trying to hide away that investment or what the idea is here. The 22 enemy scouts on the field don't like forward castle as an idea. And they have some spears though. But yeah, fair enough, and it's the distance, travel distance is really far as well. So it probably wouldn't work. It's a good means to ensure the early game map control for GDR boys. TCP getting decent trades here though. Cleaning up some yellow scouts. And the first camel archer now officially being produced, another one in the queue. Vulcan arrow already in, which means the walls, it's even open here, but yeah, which means that the walls still won't really keep any raids out. You could still harass some of the economies, and these woodlands aren't great for GDR boys. They need to get out on the field. Both teams need to get out on the field for consistent wood access, so there's that as well. The only player who has moved out thus far is Mark Landers, obviously very exposed to camel archers raids now, but will probably provide some military soon enough with the Franks to keep the opposing team busy. Ooh, as I spoke of, moving out for a better woodline. That's just not going to happen yet for Sapient Fess. 6 camel archers and counting. Let's have a look at the production speed. Not too shabby. They produce quickly, and if you get Kashpa, they produce 30% faster as well. Another attempt at taking the woodline far side. Ah, just go for a town center already. There's not enough wood for a town center. That's why Sapient Fest is desperate to get out for a better woodline. It's a bit unfortunate, but now with the camel archers out, should be less of an issue. GDR boys on the way to the Castle Age. Haven't really taken any notable losses, just a couple of villagers dead for yellow. You will go for 2v2 next. It's not gonna be 2v2, it's gonna be 4v4. There seems to be a lot more interest for 4v4. But there is a Nomad 2v2 league in the making. That's not announced yet. So I shouldn't be sharing too much about that. Or I don't know much about it, other than that it's in the works. Once again, scouts getting value here. Town center attempting to go up on the woodline. It's a good lumber camp from Sapien Fest as well with that town center. If that town center goes up, Camelot just forced to pull back here now. Great damage from the Tatars. GDR have been able to get to the castle age now, producing cavalry archers, camels, and knights. Division is... oh, it's... let's fix that. Now it should be slightly more visible. It's Division 3. Value though, the wood income for Sapien Fest is completely obstructed. They're only 100 wood, barely able to afford another lumber camp here, and losing villagers left and right. 5 villagers down for the Mongols all the way to the castle age. Huge losses taken here. The town center still gonna cost. It's the Tatars as well, remember, they have bonus damage from elevation. The town center just won't go up for teal here. It's just not gonna happen. And look at the economic advances at home for GDR boys. They're really approaching a good position here now with the army masses, Castle Age army masses increasing. Castle Age just in for Sapien Fest now, going for the Steppe Lancers, probably hoping to get some raids in through walls, because the Steppe Lancers have one range. Bloodlines on the way as well. You need that to boost the hit points of your cavalry armies. 20 more hit points with bloodlines. Finally gonna see a town center on the woodline for Sapien Fest as well. Probably should commit more villagers to increase the wood income efficiency here. Only 7 villagers on wood could be an issue. However, Astro with the Gudars, camels now chasing the Hindustanis ones. Who's gonna get the better trade here? It's marginal here. It's going to come down to the upgrades, and Astro actually has better upgrades, so getting a good fight in here. Mark Landers, however, meddling in a little bit here, taking a chance with some of the knights, and they are going to clean it up in the end. Camelot's numbers now approaching the 20s. The stone situation, not really going to see any more castles just yet. Camelot's 140 movement speed, knights 149. So we're going to need husbandry here for the Camelot's to at least temporarily be able to keep up with the knight's speed even better. Centers securing the area close in towards the middle, securing the woodlands as both teams have been doing. A castle now for the Franks as well. Military situation is dead even, but TCP, because of the great raids of GDR boys, they are behind in villagers. Astro significantly higher idle TC as well, but that's 3 town centers, so that's part of the reason. You never want to take an uphill fight against the Tatars, especially. But in general not, because it's 25% more bonus damage. Cavalry Archers deciding to pull away from the rest of the group. That could be an issue, but they're going to get some decent trades against the Cavalry Archers here. Splitting out the armies, not great for TCP though. The unique units, the Cavalry Archers, they're going to be cleaned up here by the mass of Cavalry Archers and Camels. Easily, they're almost being sandwiched in here. I said cleaned up, but definitely lost some serious numbers. Steplands are still for the raids though. Let's see how much value they can get here together with the Camels of Astro. They're splitting up. They really want to even out the eco count here, but at what cost? They're going to lose their passes. And GDR, as a result, will pull away in the overall military numbers. And yeah, pulling back out again. So not really much damage done. In fact, no, barely any eco kills here. Guten Abend, Kigo. 2000ers for both teams. This could be a game dragging out into Imperial Age, and for Team Acropolis, for the late game you'd see the players try to wall off as close to the middle as possible. Full wall all the way across the map, so you could have safe trade in corners. That's for the long term. But we're obviously not quite there yet. You need to keep making military and fight for your position to be able to set up that late game trade route. Second castle for the Berbers now, more Cavalry Archers joining the game, and probably the best counter to Cavalry Archer play. Ooh, but that castle will be denied by the Cavalry Archers, at least for the time being. No ballistics yet, but when you're that close and have that kind of mass, it doesn't matter as much. Let's just have a look at the overall numbers here, just for comparison. It's a tiny, no, not just tiny, it's quite the hit points advantage for GDR boys, but with the green armies joining in here, that's a different matter. There are somewhat matched camels versus camels here. Upgrades are in casting for the both of them, kicks in slightly earlier for the Hindustanis, but not early enough to make an impact in the grand scheme of things here. Keeps denying that castle, which means it's still going to be only one castle producing the Cavalry Archers, deleting the foundation as well, so all of that stone almost goes away. Only one villager binding stone. Oh, never mind, we placed a new one defensively at home. We're fine. Imperial Age now in for the Tatars, which means that heavy Cavalry Archers should be on the menu. Parthian Tactics, Bracer as well. Increasingly deadly, those Cavalry Archers in mass. It's a pretty healthy mass already with 33 Cavalry Archers. When you have 60 or more collected and get to the fully upgraded Imperial Age ones, they are a deadly force to be reckoned with here. They don't quite match the Camel's movement speed though. So there's that. Thanks Castle and more stables going up as well to further boost the cavalry production. All of the GDR boys now going to the Imperial Age, which means that Cavalier and Heavy and eventually Imperial Camel will be on the field. And they've spotted the dock in the middle from Astro as well, trying to sneakily take advantage of some of the economy in the middle. That's not going to be lasting long for the grey player over here. Hindustanis, Camels and Light Cav line as well get bonus damage against buildings. So it's easier to break through the walls or any buildings because of that. And if there's nowhere else to use rockets, why not just go forward like this? There's the Imperial Age Instant Bracer and Silk Armor and Heavy Cavalry Archer for the red player here. So got a good economy setup behind all of this. Ballistics obviously in. Chemistry now on the way as well. These cavalry archers are getting seriously dangerous. It's a pity they're moving away, because that castle could have easily been denied with armies around over here, but obviously they can't see everything. Imperial Age in for the Franks as well, which means that Cavaliers are on the field, and the Hindustan is Camel Mass. Not quite Imperial Age yet, but they are going to make quick work of the town centers and buildings around here, as they have the earlier mentioned bonus damage against buildings. Just like that, one of those Berbers town centers go down. We're still going to need some siege weapons to deal with the castles around here, but there's a castle going up relatively far forward for GDR boys here. They are also with comfortably higher military numbers here total. So they're certainly not making it easy for toxic civ pickers to push back here. Camel archers are focusing the camels mainly, maybe worried that the heavy and imperial camels upgrades will kick in soon. There are more cavalry archers than cavalry archers here, so that's never good news for the cavalry archers. There's more in production though when the town center goes down. Toxic civ pickers, economic situation not looking too great here. They're losing more and more control, and here are the walls, as mentioned earlier, trying to seal off the map somehow so that you can place markets in the corner and get some trade going. Oh, about 100 population lead for GDR boys, but they also have had all of their team in the Imperial Age for a while already. Look at the castles popping up here as well. Makes it harder and harder to actually get to the other side to raid the trade line. Stone walls going up here as well, all the way to the edge. So soon there's just a middle section to be walled off, and this castle here is again preventing units from easily getting into the trade line when that eventually starts. Looks like they started trading already. Market's gone up in the corners. No sign of any trade efforts from toxic civ pickers just yet. Trebuchets are out from both purple and red here. They want these castles down so that the Berbers player can't make any more camel archers. Hindustani camels inside of TCP's base. Imperial Camel just seconds away. Decide to move back out because of the massive military advantage of Grey and Teal here, but yeah, no escape for the yellow Imperial Camels there. Need to remass those. Paladin coming in for the Franks, Siege Engineers coming in for the Tatars. You could also get the unique technology for Tatars if it isn't in already. That gives the Trebuchets 16 plus 2 range, so with Siege Engineers that's actually going to be 16 plus 3, outranging any non-Siege Engineer Trebuchet by 3 range. Big fight in the middle here. If we remove the Trebuchets from that equation, it's still massively in favor of GDR boys. Toxic civ pickers now down to half the military. They're losing castles. They're going to be raided to death as these armies win this fight very comfortably. It's 100 more military for GDR boys. They are going to go in for the raids, and it's going to be really hard to recover from this for toxic civ pickers, even though they still have some defensive fortifications working for them. Magadite production happening here for Sapient Fest, but it's just not going to be enough. First game goes to GDR boys. We'll be moving into Toxic Simpickers map next. The situation pretty decent for the Berbers, but mostly on the defensive side with these camel archers, right? So even with doing the hit and run and leading up armies again and again, even getting to elite camel archers there, just wasn't enough to deal with Paladin and Imperial camel masses. Although they worked very nicely against the heavy cavalry archers of the Tatars. So the feudal age aggression paid off. The scouts did get in, they got villager pickoffs, and they claimed the map at exactly the right moments to deny the wood access of the Berbers and Mongols several times. So good vision and mobility there for the Tatars Hindustanis team. Right, let's cross off these spent civilizations here. And hop into the next map. The Team Acropolis going down there. We'll be going to Migration next, which surely should bring Dravidians. Likely brings Japanese, could even factor in Portuguese there. Then leaving Persians or Lithuanians for the Runestones pocket civilization. But Persians on these hybrid naval maps as well. Certainly a safe and solid pick. Won't and it's their home map as well. Could be Persians, Dravidians, Japanese, or Persians, Dravidians, Portuguese. Whereas for Max Power's team, don't really see Spanish cannon galleons naval player unless they want to claim the middle island with conquistadors, but it's the last pick, so I don't think so. Mur could be handy for fast castle, fireship, fast imp, some kind of shenanigans, but it's going to be Malians, Italians, and another civilization, Saracens, probably because of their faster galleys. So let's have a look. Second game is Migration. Portuguese being picked as well. Very solid naval civilization, of course. Migration it is, and in the pocket position for Toxic Simpickers we have Mertarsuslu. Sheesh. Or Teal, as we will be referring to them as for now, as the Portuguese. Extra hit points on the, what should we call them, battleships on the naval armies. Gold units costing 20% less gold. Caravel as the unique boat, especially handy against Vikings longboats, but good unit regardless. And for land play, they have fully upgraded arballists. They have organ guns from the castle. They, generally speaking, just have a lot of more than decent options. Left side flank, we have Hopsy Winds with the Japanese. Faster working fishing ships. Resource drop-off points cost 50 wood less. Saving them some wood makes it easier to get the dock up slightly earlier. And yeah, saves you wood for other stuff, basically. The dock is already up. First fishing ship already out as well, so comfortably ahead of most of the others in the fishing. Finally, Astro with the Dravidians, providing 5 population space per dock as a team bonus. And 200 wood granted once you reach the next age, always handy for naval play, which means you could drop your blacksmith or another dock straight away. On land, they don't have that many things going for them, but they have fully upgraded armors and they have fully upgraded elite elephant archers, which are beastly for land aggression. But being on the flank side, probably going to see some galley fighting here between Astro and Mark Landers, who is playing as the Italians. Cheaper fishing ships for the Italians, quite a few other advantages for Italians that make them strong for naval play. For example, the fact that their advancement to the next stage costs 15% less. And in the pocket we have Nono di Heidi with the Malians over here. Saving, what is it, 15% wood per building or some such. Also makes it easier to get the fishing going early on, affording the dock earlier than most civilizations, and affording the fishing ship slightly earlier as well. They're not ideal for late game naval fights since they don't have bracers, so their galleons, if they have them, won't benefit from the bracer upgrade, but they could make things awkward in the middle island on migration through their strong land options as well, with the extra pierce armor swordsman line or the Farimba unique technology from the castle, giving 5 extra attack to light cavalry, or the cavalry units. All of the cavalry units, they have camels, they have knights, and they have scouts and light cav, yeah. The left Saracens for Polemos here. Saracens have faster firing galleys. They can also use their market to trade resources or sell and buy resources more efficiently or more at better rates than any other civilizations. So when they're in a pinch for gold or other resources, it hurts less to use the market for those purposes. Feudal Age already on the way for the red player. As the first one, no, actually the first one is Hopsi with the Japanese, so Japanese and Saracens looking at a tight fight on the left hand side here. I'll speed it up a little bit because the early game until Feudal Age here is not the most interesting. Let's see, 23 population. No naval military for Hopsi wins here. Dropping the bags. There we go with the galley production. Okay, maybe it was a little bit short on wood. Seems to be the same issue for red. Just now going to gold. Does not have the market. Probably forgot to go to gold there because you need to be on gold. The galleys are kind of expensive. Wood and gold wise, they cost more than on the fire ships. Or not fire galleys. To see any naval advantage on the other side. Italians 29 pop here. Galleys indeed. While Nono di Heidi must be going for the fast cast late approach here. Same as our teal player in the south here. They're going to have to rely on their flank players keeping the fish safe for the rest of the team, at least for long enough to benefit from the straight fast castle, and maybe going straight into the middle to expand on the land for easier wood and gold and stone access over, and pick up the relics and whatnot. Third dock for Hopsi wins. I think that's already up for the Saracens, but in terms of pure numbers, they are not that far apart from each other. The fact that Hopsi wins already has fletching in, though, could be a huge issue here for the Saracens. Yes, faster firing. Yes, one more galley here, but Hopsi is fighting at home field advantage. and has a larger, further range and higher damage output as their advantage here. It's only a matter of time though, as Fletching is on the way in for Polybos as well. Probably saw that Fletching was in for the blue galleys and decided to back off for a little bit. Consistent triple docks production for the both of them, but Astro compared to Marklanders just slightly behind. It's tough to fight this far from home for Polymos because Hopsy is consistently going to get reinforcements popping in here. A fourth dock. I'm not sure if that's for some more fish for Gaslight or if it's just to keep boosting the numbers here, as it's losing some as well. They're relatively similar. They're 8 versus 8 over here, so that's just going to come down to the micromanagement over here. No galley aggression whatsoever on the right hand side. As Bertarfuslu claims the middle for a bit, going to scout the middle with not only the starting scout but also some additional scouts added from the stable over here. No presence in the middle just yet for GDR boys. They are determined to win water before expanding to the middle, by the looks of it. Let's say yellow wasn't on the mainland. He is indeed dropping a stable, barracks, and a town center. So must have transported over a short while ago. 15 fishing ships, that's no joke. But it's the case for both the pockets. They've invested heavily into fish, while the flanks still have kept theirs alive as well. Slight numbers advantage for Hopsy here, but nothing too particular. Teal Scouts looking for expansion, but not quite found the yellow town center foundation going up here. That's going to complete before Teal can find that getting close, but not quite there yet. 5 scouts, just as Castlade kicks in, while yellow has gone straight for the camels. Should get lucky and deny this town center from coming up, but that would be lucky if they found this just by chance. I guess there's an indication that something might be going up around here when you have the production buildings and the houses over here. Should be just a quick wall, easy quick wall for Teal to keep these camels away. Only two villagers landed for Teal for what I can see, so they're definitely exposed here, trying to get that town center up. Yellow finds it. Good quick wall, but can they pass through there? No, they can't actually. That looked open to me, but it's not. So yeah, that town center is going to complete as a second town center comes up for the Malians. Castle Age just about there for Hopsy wins, as Polybos is only halfway. Will the numbers be enough? No. It's going to be straight War Galley and Bodkin for blue, and Hopsy now looking at a great advantage on the left side flank here now with the War Galley just about to kick in. We'll have to be careful to take the fights. Don't want to lose numbers before the upgrades are in. It's still 30 seconds for Polymos to get the upgrades in, so this is getting nasty for the red player. Gonna lose potentially all of the naval armies here now due to better upgrades for the opposing player if Hopsy decides to chase. Purple now in the middle, but the Dravidians player is making life awkward for them at home. Numbers wise, slight numbers lead for purple perhaps. No, it's actually outnumbered here. by just a few. So this is a fight that Astro can definitely take. Assuming the upgrades are similar, and they are, and Astro is taking it. There are reinforcements ticking in for purple, of course, but yeah, still decent trades there. KD situation very positive for the Dravidians, 15-6. Top side, red lost not at all many war galleys here. They are tied in numbers yet again, at least until Hopsy coming the reinforcement in. Careening could be a huge one though, as Polymos is missing that one. So in equal numbers now, Hopsy is going to take less damage per shot from the war galleys, or the war galleys of Polymos. 6+1 Pierce armor against the 6 Pierce armor of red. So then these are upgrades you need to pay a bit attention to, because if you're losing fights in equal numbers like this, then it might have something to do with the upgrades. Looks like we're going to see the Portuguese player going for a crossbows approach here into Arbalest. Perhaps the Imperial Age is not far away. Dravidians keeping up the aggression over on this side. Both sides have careening here, but Grey still has the numbers. Will need to focus fire the fire ships though. Takes some damage to the fire ship there, doesn't quite see them right away. It's 15-10, so as long as you focus the fire galley or fire ship as well, should be fine here. So really weak purple ships here. The top side again. Do we have careening for red? We don't really have careening. It is on the way, and it's the careening dock that's being focused by Hopsy. I don't think that's going to go down in time, but if it does, that would be huge. What's up in the middle here? Some light cab from the teal player denying a town center from Nonodi Heidi. Lots of camels here for the camels Valiance player here, so that should make quick work of the units of the Portuguese player. Nothing too overwhelming here. Yes, some monks could get some conversions in, but with the fish economy having run so undisturbed for yellow, and now some farming economy extending on land, camel numbers are approaching decent numbers already. Polymos is losing the naval battles here though. That means that getting to the middle island for Polymos is going to be quite difficult here. Could be stuck at home base here unless the teammates come to his or their assistance. Purple now with better numbers, fire ships in front, forcing the grey player to focus down these. As the Imperial Age kicks in for Portuguese, meaning the crossbows could become marvelous. Some serious production happening here. If you cancel some of those, it should be easier to afford. Ooh, Bodkin wasn't in yet. That's unfortunate for the teal player. Finds the choke point. I think Nolodi Hyde will still commit, just to make sure that the Imperial Age advantage and the Arbalest upgrade doesn't do too much. Chemistry coming in ahead of Arbalest. I guess that makes sense, that it does increase the damage output of the crossbows, and that's most of the camels going down for Nolodi Hyde now, switching over into knights. And potentially Cavaliers eventually. Double siege workshop going up here for Mevtar Suslu as well, suggesting that the Portuguese death ball here will be bomber cannons arbalist. They're all in Castle Age here for GDR boys, and only 35 eco units for the Saracens. No way to get to the middle here as Hobsewins is guarding the full shoreline. They just don't have the numbers. Castles shouldn't be staying up for too long for GDR boys either, not with the Portuguese bomber cannons now in production. Hobsewins also joining the land side here now, wanting to get castles up to secure the left side of the middle. Not sure what the Japanese will be making here. Could also be archers for the Japanese, or even cavalry archers for the middle. It's a pity that only one of the siege workshops were working here. Bracer arbalest in, which means that mangonels don't stand a chance. The arbalists simply outrange them. Astra has held well here as well, as kept Marklanders at home base for so long. Now fighting back with fire galleys and chasing here, but Hopsy's coming with some fire ships of his own here, allowing Astro to hit and run against the remaining numbers here, and that's going to be all of the naval ability of Marklanders going down here, making it very awkward for Marklanders to transport this economy to the mainland. That's quite significant. It's basically half of the villager population of the purple player. So Polemos made it to the middle after all. Saracens player dropping 2 town centers, going to try and get some kind of a reboom going here. Japanese fire ships now chasing the war galleys. It's full fire ship almost for Hopsy now, as Hopsy joins the right hand side with Astro to keep Marklanders away. I guess that castle might complete before they can get there, and that foundation is also vulnerable to fire ships, funnily enough. So if that castle gets denied somehow, we could use fire ships to take it out, I guess. Huge mass of arbalests in the middle, 81 arbalests for the Portuguese player. How are you going to deal with that at all here? It's Condotieros for the Malians player, also benefiting from the Malians extra pierce armor, but 4 bomber cannons and counting, going to deal with the production buildings quite efficiently here. It's just not going to be possible for Nonodi Heidi to get enough Condotieros out here to deal with these massive units. Let's use the mobility of the Condotieros to set back Hopsy a little bit though. Hopsy failing to complete this castle, and the Condotieros increasing rapidly in mass here, fighting back just a little bit, but it all comes down to the Portuguese death ball here. Almost 100 arbalests. You need on a Euro siege, on the Euro to deal with this kind of mass, or you need shit tons of Malians, Farimba, Cavalier, and light cab mixed in here. Do we have any cannon galleons yet? Not really. So we're going to need some kind of siege ships to deal with this castle for toxic stim pickers. They can still target the docks and they can still stop redocking from happening, but yeah, the galleons firing away at the castle, I'm not sure if that's the best play to get going. Fire galleys on the castle foundation, however, or fast fire ships, that would be a different story. They could camp the foundation here and do some serious work. I guess the galleys can as well. Oh, this castle going up on the gold over here. Making sure that Hopsy castle stays unbuilt, but Hopsy recastled in the back here, keeping the raids away. Transporting some of the remaining economy from home to mainland as well. It's similar in the eco situation, but TCP, especially considering the Portuguese armies here, they are in a great spot. They still have a massive military lead, and they are pushing, even though the bomber cannons just went down for Teal. 7 pierce armor for the Condotieros, that's also no joke against these arbalest masses. But they just can't get to the proper numbers needed. Fast fire ships making the best of the situation, going to take out the docks of Nonodihide, take out the fishing economy as well, setting back the food income quite a little bit, but there are obviously farms working over here. Oh, repair! Get some repairs in here. No trebuchets for Nonodihide. This castle will very likely go down unless the Condotieros can get close enough in time. Just a few more trebuchet balls. I think that castle goes down. And that's the conscription castle. It goes down to the trebuchets. Great. Treb action there from Hopsy. On the right hand side we see Purple has been forced into skirmishers with the Italians here. Not the situation you want to find yourself in a team game. Arbalest mass still there for the Portuguese. Gonna move over to try and clean up some of the Malians production perhaps. I mean, if you get rid of this middle presence here for the Malians, there's not much left to do for Nonodihide in the middle, because the docks are going down, going to make re-transporting awkward here. Look at the fast fire ships from Hopsy also guarding the left side here to make it almost impossible for Polemos to transport more villagers over. This is all about the middle now, and TCP most certainly have more control over the middle than can be said about their opponents. Bombard cannons back. Wonder if the unique technology might be in for the Portuguese as well. Not yet, as far as I can see here. But the arbalest mass is obviously doing great work here. Japanese longswords being teched now. That's a response to the Condottiero play. If you can get two Japanese champions here, they attack faster and they should shred the Condottieros with their better stats. Oh, a little bit careless with the arbalest here now for Teal being chased by the elite skirmishers. But the bombard cannon is still almost enough to one-shot a castle at this point. Desperately trying to focus down the organs here, not succeeding in doing so. Also Condottiers from the Italians here, but look at the stats compared to the Malians. They will melt much more quickly to the arbalests over here. The castle should be quickly dealt with by the bombard cannons over here. That does not take a whole lot of volleys. No upgrades on that castle other than the range and damage upgrades. I think that's simply going down with the next volley of cannonballs here for Teal. Where's the means to deal with the skirmishers though? I guess that's the longsword edition, the eventual champions edition from Hopsy as well. That's going to help deal with the skirmishers. Some good bomber cannons hits there. Skirmishers numbers diminishing rapidly in the big groups. No docks for Nonodihide, so no means to get back on the middle island. Since that's Madlukes added from Polemos. That should be properly bad news for the longswords of Hopsy, so maybe Hopsy could consider getting into different units. Yes, two-handed swordsman though. Finally Imperial Age for the Saracens as well. 79 eco only 10 military, but that is double Castle's production of Mamluks here. Being in the Imperial Age, you're also allowed to sling each other, so that could be a way for Polemos to produce enough units to make the difference in the game here, but I think the map positioning is a lot better for Toxic Sim Pickers here to just keep GDR from being able to move away from their home islands while pushing with the Italians' death ball in the middle. Malians, Colosseros, no joke though, plus 7 pierce armor. Or 7 pierce armor total. And the Arbalest dealing with most of them as well. We need to focus the ones going for the bomber cannons though. Great value from this guy. He's taking out 3 bomber cannons, I think. Maybe a 4th one. Almost. And losing basically all of the presence for yellow here. GDR called the GG. It's a 1-1 and we'll have a final game on Stones, which happens to be GDR's home map as well. So might be playing into their favor. Yasama just teched from blue as well. Yasama Towers. Great defensive fortification. In addition to castles for the Japanese. Dominant KD for the Portuguese, so 350 to 170. That's lots of value from the Arbalests. Death Ball there. Less economy for Dravidians and Japanese, doesn't matter, and can keep the pressure going like that on both flanks, allowing the Portuguese to take the middle and take the game into their team's hands. Right, so I'm gonna go into a game 3 soon enough. Just going to have to make sure to tick off the winning civilizations and the unfortunate losers for this one. For runestones, not Franks or Hindustani's pocket. So Spanish, the only paladin pocket here. But the idea, we would have the elite battle elephants as the Khmer, so Khmer could be a runestone's pocket as well. Not that much fan of that, but with the ease of walling runestones, you could also rely on your flanks to hold the defense for a while and then have the Khmer steamroll the opponents with a very early castle age. I mean, Persians were picked first, so I guess that's going to be the runestone's pocket. I still might have liked Lithuanians more, even with the new Persians, but we'll see. Persians, Vietnamese, Koreans then most likely. And Mayans, Ethiopians, Khmer for Max Power's team. Let's go into game 3. Runestones, it is basically an Arabia clone here. And we're seeing GDR boys playing with the Ethiopians on flank for Mark Landers here. In the purple, faster firing archers, 100 food, 100 gold granted once you reach the next stage. In the pocket, we do indeed have none of the Heidi going for the Khmer. Would be up to some quick fuel age scouts shenanigans here, not needing the barracks to go up. And faster working farmers as well, or not faster working farmers, but farmers never needing drop off, making for very efficient farms handy in the early game to bring in food efficiently for a quicker castle age potentially than their opponents. Right hand side we have Polemos with the Mayans go to as a flank civilization on the open maps because of the cheaper archers line units as you go. 10, 20 and 30% discount from the archery range. And 15% long lasting resources for the Mayans as well. So any resource lasts longer, which will allow them to benefit from that once they have their base walled and don't need to move out as soon to get more resources. Means they're less vulnerable to laming as well, because they would still collect more resources from anything they pick resources from. For toxic sim pickers, we have Mertar Suslu with the Koreans on the flank here. Koreans get the armor upgrades instantly, so for the archers and ranged units, so that makes them arguably stronger in equal fights against the Mayans until the Mayans can get these army upgrades resources. It obviously also benefits the war wagons, the unique units of the Koreans, which we might see in the late game, but not straight for the Castle Age. For those to see double range archers into crossbow armless, most likely for the Koreans. In the pocket we have Astro as the Persians, 5% faster working town center in the Dark Age, which should show up on the villager speed as we go here if the idle town center times are comparable. 10% faster in Castle Age 15. No, 10% faster in Feudal Age 15 in Castle Age and maybe 20 in Imperial Age, I don't quite remember. So town centers still more hit points of course and working faster. Great Cavalry, as they had the Paladin replaced with a Savar, is it? And that's essentially a cheaper alternative to the Paladin with some arguably stronger stats, but should also have less hit points, I think, and there's some tweaks there. It's still a Paladin replacement or a Paladin-esque unit for a cheaper resource upgrade for the cost, so powerful in the late game, I'm sure. And finally, left side, we have Hopsy wins with the Vietnamese, who, as a team bonus, gets to know the location of the town centers of the opponents. So he'll know that he's up against the Vietnamese, whereas his opposing flanks, Mayans, is going to be up against the Koreans on this side. Looks like we're going to see 19 pop up from a lot of the players here. Persians slightly higher. Khmer, surprisingly, going up at 19 as well. Could have gone up earlier with and still benefit from the not needing any prerequisite building to get your stable or archery range up. And starting the walls here, this is slightly more open runestones than I would expect. You could still wall in between all of your woodlands that are very consistent around your base, so it would be relatively easy for the flanks to wall themselves in there. Interesting approach here from Opsy. Covering the side of the base like this, might want to wall like that to get full coverage here. It's not that fortunate with the backwood line, but at least he has a backwood line to save things here. Village is kicking in, not for the Koreans player, unfortunately, so the elevation advantage just not enough to keep that scout away. Scouts fight on the left hand side as well, but here's Mark Landers fighting 1 versus 2 here. While yellow is just being plain annoying here, delaying the Koreans' archery range as much as possible, but with 2 villagers fighting that one, you don't want to spend too much time with the scout over there. So it's scouts from the Khmer, it's scouts from the Persians, but the Khmer being up earlier has a numbers lead over the Persians in scouts production situation. Looks like there are 7 relics on this map as well. Could be slightly irrelevant if one player is able to pick up most of them. TCP establishing an economic lead here, the Persians at 20 seconds of idle TC time, but again, 10% faster working tiles than that makes it a little bit more awkward to keep the fluency of food to be able to queue the villagers as well. That could be partly the reason for some idle TC time here, and the fact that the town center works faster is still giving the Persians an eco lead over the same idle time yellow player. 2 versus 1 situation developing over here, but Blues archers joining up on top side here, fletching not in for any of them. It's just about to come in for the red player here. I think this wood line is off limits, but these villagers are too close to the walls, so these archers could maybe get a lucky pick off here if Blue doesn't react quickly. There you go. Saves the villagers, but delays the blacksmith, so there's that. Blue scouts coming in here. Let's see the scout situation. Army numbers very even. However, fletching in for red, not so much for blue, and scrambles to get that blacksmith up with full 5 villagers there, which means that the worker efficiency is definitely suffering as a result of that. Big fight over here now, and not a fight that Green wants to take alone, that's for sure, but with the blue archers joining in, the numbers are still quite comparable. And now fletching is in as well, of course. DDR take the hill as they can now, don't want to fight any unfavorable fights unless they have to. The army coordination of toxic Simfigures not quite on point here, I have to say. The archers of blue a little bit too far away, and those hills everywhere, making it awkward to engage as well for toxic Simfigures side. What's going on the top side here? 1 villager pick off for Hopsy. It's very likely to get another one. No. Gets kind of walled in here. There's an escape over at this side. Maybe that's where Hopsy entered. This open side. It's also got more archers, at least at home base. Total. They're both harassing each other's sides here. Hopsy keeping the reinforcements close, but he's going to be up against more archers here. See if he can use the scout to distract the fire. It's not a good fight though. It's not a good fight by any means. Loses the scout there. But now enter the reinforcements 7 versus 7. And but these are Ethiopian archers, so Marklanders should still have the edge here in equal mass like this. Once again, scouts and archers working together as both red and yellow pull towards purple over here, maybe to attempt sort of a 3 versus 1 situation. Not good for scouts to go about that alone there. I have to say the coordination of TCP not quite on point here. They may not be communicating as well as they could. They're not taking any unnecessary fights either. They have the numbers though, so if they can force a fight, that's going to be good for TCP here. Look at the stats, they're so even. Good and competitive set between these two teams. All 3 games. And now it's GDR that are a little bit on the uncoordinated side here. Yellow taking some damage there to the green scouts. Upgrades wise, green has the advantage as well. Numbers and upgrades advantage. Not a pretty sight for yellow until that attack upgrade can kick in. What's the bloodlines situation? Neither player has bloodlines either. Castle Age is on the way here for Nonodihide as the Khmer. Could be the turning point for sure to have a comfortable Castle Age lead, as Astro has committed into more scouts, but better arcades taken, better fights arguably as well. But as you can see from the food gold bar here, needs to tweak the market resources a bit with the market. To click up might be suspecting that the Khmer player is up as well. So maybe the Khmer player is the person to hit now for these two armies. They're not really engaging against other armies, but they're also not doing economic damage. And speaking of engaging against armies, Hopsy gets a nice pick off over here, taking out all of the archers of Marklanders, who just hit the Castle Age and will be suffering from being at lower numbers here. They're clicking at almost identical times. But Top Wins has the numbers advantage. Castle Age in for the red player. Bayans staying at home with the archers. Unless you run right into the archer's mass, this is not a point you want to be too close. Crossbow in for blue as well, though, so they're quite comparable in numbers. Of just one crossbow apart. Some of the archers all the way over here, though, getting some value. They are getting 2 eco kills. But that means that blue has better numbers inside of red's base. He's gonna get in. Will he see the towns that are going up? I think he's even seeing the foundation. Oh, this could be disastrous for Polamos here. I think at this point you just commit to villagers. You commit to villagers. You go inside, commit, take out as many villagers as possible, and don't care about the numbers lost. Or you conserve your armies and come back stronger, reinforced by cavalry. But this was a good opportunity, perhaps, to take out quite a few villagers from red here and gain at least an economic advantage over the Mayans. No ballistics in yet, as we can see. Large group of crossbows not really hitting the target. Crossbow Bodkin for Hopsy as well has pulled the armies back home, probably. Yeah. Wants to conserve the numbers before engaging. Funnily enough, Marklanders has caught up with the numbers. He's got 3 ranges producing as opposed to 0 from Hopsy currently. It is 3 rangers for the both of them though, so Hopsy should be able to somewhat keep up with the progression here. Light cav in for the Persians here could get a decent trade against Polamos crossbows here once he gets joined by Hopsy's stray crossbows over here. Some team walling efforts going on from Toxic Sim Pickers as well. If they can complete them with Whittle here, that's going to make it a lot more awkward for GDR boys to do damage to green and teal. Cleaning up the crossbows, but that's still 33 crossbows for the Mayans, easily replenishing those numbers. Finally, some knights in production for Astro as well. 2 town centers at work, and guess with the faster working Persian TCs, that's not too bad. TCP, numbers advantage, GDR, eco advantage. But for how long? There's going to be lots of crossbows going down here for the Koreans player. Great engagement from GDR boys here. Yes, some of the Khmer Knights will go down, but they're going to trade amazingly regardless of that. So many crossbows lost for Mertar Suslu, and GDR for now only with a marginal military lead, but given those losses and Toxic Sim Pickers being behind in the economy, they're going to have to work hard to get back to the same numbers count. This game is slowly snowballing into GDR's favor. They're adding more town centers, all of them as well, so they're going to have stronger economies entering the later stages of the game. Adding more town centers like this arguably, or it will delay your town Imperial Age timing as well, but it doesn't seem to be an issue looking at TCP's resource situation currently. Another good engagement for Hopsy, so Hopsy's doing work here with crossbow masses. Probably has a decent KD, is a positive KD at least. Let's see where that's happening. That's over at the blue base. 2 vs 2 situation over here, but definitely with stronger armies for GDR. They simply have more crossbows. Maybe not as many knights, but don't think that matters a lot over here. It's a strange point to try and enter, but I guess they can't know about the house walling behind here. Cavalry fighting cavalry, but that's mainly light cavalry for the green players, so some of those are gonna, quite a few of those are going to go down for green. Crossbows doing work against the yellow armies here as well. Yellow now almost out of knights in this fight, but so is green, and the crossbow number is way higher for the Mayans player. Good engagements again for GDR boys, as they are keeping their 20 builder lead and keeping that comfortable military lead over the other team as well. Aside, we have Hopsy trying for the gold outside of his base with only a mining camp, not a town center. Might not be able to afford it, but that's gonna cost. Probably just blindly sent these builders over here, and Mark Landers is on point with the crossbow group, getting some villager kills finally here. 5 villagers down, and more might happen. As this time around it's Mark Landers, time to trade efficiently against Hopsy wins. They're now roughly tied in numbers of crossbows yet again. Very consistent builder production here. 4 town centers for the Khmer. Great Khmer boom going on over here. Lots of farms. We might see the... We're gonna see the Cavalier first, but maybe we'll eventually see a switch into Elephants as well, because we're gonna need something to match the strength of the Franks Paladins. Watchtower being added for blue. Seems a bit low on stone, but at least 1 tower to protect the stone and wooding come over here in between the town center and the wood line. Very forward, aggressive castle from Polobos now. Wants to get to Imperial Age and push with siege by the looks of it as well. Manifesting this hill, going to take out the town center over here and take blue almost completely away from gold access. Oh no, never mind, there's gold over here as well, so that's also an option for blue to go for. But the main gold is running low for blue. Let's see how many villagers will be committed to this forward castle. It's about 10 of them, 10, 12, 14. 14 villagers, and the battle elephant switch is on. No more knights for the Khmer player. We're going into the battle elephants. They will tank a lot more arrows already from the ranged units, so I'm not opposed to that addition at all. Mark Landers arguably wasting some crossbows inside of Hopsy's base here. Hasn't really gotten any more military kills over here. Yeah, we don't see Elephantosos nearly as often as we'd like in this game. Cool dudes. Castle complete for Polobos here. No surprise there, denying this gold and immediately a new town center on the gold to the right hand side for Mertarsuslu. aka blue. And that gold has been scouted, so that's one to keep an eye out for GDR boys, as the full team are entering the Imperial Age, which means Arbalists and Trebuchets and elite battle elephants will be enjoying some forward aggression. There's the Imperial Age already for the Mayans. First Trebuchet right on the way there. Alright, there's some raids happening over here, so Astro going for the raids, maybe at the perfect time here with Imperial Age kicking in for yellow. That's going to be a lot of builders going down for yellow, and with 4,000 centers, even with 4,000 centers, it's going to take some time to recover here. Great raids from green. Is it enough though, with the Mayans entering Imperial Age with Arbalest and only one player approaching the Imperial Age for Toxic Sim Pickers, and that is the blue player, who is under heavy pressure here from GDR boys. Only 2,000 centers for blue as well. To fight a very tough battle against almost 60 nearly fully upgraded Arbalists here. Town Center being the first target of the Trebuchet. No defensive castles, no nothing here for Toxic Sim Pickers. At this point, might even be worthwhile to just leave the Koreans alone for a bit and try to force green to go home instead. Looks like the Mer player has been able to clean up a little bit, going for the Knights again. Imperial Age is in. Cavalier being researched. I guess the Battle Elephants were a bit of a flex that yeah, the game wasn't ready for it yet. Left side, crossbows on the move for Hopsy. Gonna look for some damage potential. There's relatively few military in Marklander space. Going for some skirmishers to try and hold off this aggression. But with the Imperial Age in, you will have Bracer and longer range for the armies as opposed to Hopsy's Castle Age armies here. So Bracer skirmishers against Castle Age crossbows should be trading nicely here, as the cavalry is busy elsewhere anyway and won't meddle in just yet. And Toxic Sim Pickers survived this for long enough to get back into it. I see 3 town centers for blue. Or is it just... Where are the other town centers? Oh, only one TC. I was looking at the crossbow production, not the villager production. The villagers not being replenished currently for blue. I think it might be a good call, because you really need military to hold off against this. No Arbalest just yet, but Chemistry and Bracer in for the crossbows, which helps. But look at the Mayans numbers, it's increasing. Capped rams going to go in front of the Arbalest as well, which means that the crossbows, unless you focus fire, will be firing at the rams instead. Production capability is going down. Blue is... I won't say he's going to get defeated, but is facing some serious pressure now on the left-hand side. Marklanders adding some siege as well. Imperial Age just around the corner for Hopsy wins, but Hopsy very low on military here, scrambling to keep this archer up to be able to keep making the Rattan archers as well, which has been his unit switch to keep the Ethiopians' armies away. Now switching back into Arbalest probably. But it's on the right side is happening. Mayans adding the siege rams, 12 siege rams and counting. Going to completely obliterate the blue base here, take out whatever economy is left. Still no Arbalest for Koreans over here. The Knights diving in, but Cavalier, there's Cavalier. Do we have plate parting armor? We do, so that should be decent for an engagement against these Arbalest numbers. Not that impressive as they were just a moment ago, so I guess we'll be forced to replenish the units for the Mayans here. Still keeping the Cavaliers away, and now the raids in the Persian space as well, making it awkward for Astro to keep fielding units, having to focus at home base. The GG well played is called. Well played indeed. And it is going to be GDR taking the third and final game. Holy ram push. Yeah, that's a lot of rams. 17 siege rams. But I never really saw the expansion to go to the side here. So not that it mattered all that much, as green would be the next target, and Marklanders had a good push going on the left hand side as well. Yeah, now for the statistics. You know, to KD positive for the Persians with all of those villager raids earlier on. Economic situation, generally speaking, more untouched for GDR. So they managed a comfortable eco lead there throughout the game. Imperialist timing is well ahead, which definitely gave them the deadly push towards the end there. And barely lost any villagers this game. Yes, Khmer lost to the raids, but recovered, I guess, after cleaning up those knights raids. So the Persians knights might have been needed elsewhere as well to defend. So that would be GDR boys advancing into the finals with a 2-1 win against Toxic Sim Pickers. 2-1 it is.